There is a fifth dimension, beyond that which is known by ordinary readers. It is a dimension as vast as history and as complex as human error. It is the middle ground between paper and page, between intention and accident, and it lies between the pit of printers' anxiety and the summit of their ambition. This is the dimension of discovery. It is an area which we call the bibliographic zone. In our previous video, we talked about definitions, leaves, format, gatherings, and signature marks. In this video, we're going to look at format in greater detail. Every bibliographer will do things slightly differently, and in many of the reference works that we have here in the library, we find that the formula has been split up, so that we find format in one place, the collation somewhere else, and the statement of signing in a third place entirely. Still, no matter how the formula is broken up, the first thing we see is usually a number with a superscript O or a degree symbol next to it. This indicates the format. Remember, format is the relationship between the leaves of a book and the sheets of paper used to produce those leaves. The shorthand for a format is typically going to be to either spell out a common format, or, more commonly, it will feature a number in either a superscript O or the suffix mo. The smaller formats also have names, things like sexagismo quarto for 64 mo, but you're unlikely to run into anything above 12 mo being spelled out, and probably not even that. Bibliography is a science of minutiae, and so of course, there are deviations and variations. Here we have the famous forger Thomas James Wise's catalog of his personal collection, much of it stolen. You may notice that he has not only spelled out his format, but he has included strange words before each format. Foolscap, demi, crown, etc. What do these words mean? These words refer to paper sizes. Proper examination of a book's paper and the placement of its watermark can sometimes allow a bibliographer to identify the exact size and shape of the paper before it was printed and bound. This is rarely done, but now you know what it will mean if you see it. The main paper sizes are royal, demi, crown, foolscap, and pot, with their names coming from the watermarks commonly used in paper molds of those sizes. You may also run into a statement like in fours or in tens. It's rare, but it does happen. This is a reference to how many sheets are used in a single gathering by counting the number of leaves being generated. If you see something like folio in sixes, that means we have a folio gathering with 6 leaves, i.e., 3 sheets that have been folded into a single folio gathering. Quarto in fours would mean a quarto with 4 leaves, i.e., 1 sheet that has been folded into a quarto. You can see an example of this in the catalog of Carl H. Pforzheimer's library. This first edition of Montaigne's essays is listed in Pforzheimer as item number 378. And it is described as a folio in sixes. If we check the book, we find that this is indeed the case. leave E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, and now we're into the Fs. Note that not every book in the Pforzheimer catalog has this description. This kind of notation is old-fashioned. I haven't personally seen any bibliographies published after 1950 that do it, in part because it's redundant if there is a complete collational formula. You may also encounter a situation where the number of leaves is smaller than the format, octavo in fours for instance. Here, half the gathering is missing. Or rather, it means that although a sheet of paper was folded into an octavo format, only half of it was used in the book. This might be an example of half-sheet imposition, a printing practice that I won't go into here, though you're welcome to look it up on your own. It's something I would expect to see at the beginning or end of a book. An uncautious bibliographer may assume that the format will tell them something about the size of the book in question. Don't you do it! All that format tells you is the relationship between the sheet of paper and the pages that it produces once it is folded. It's a ratio, not a measurement of size. Paper comes in many, many sizes, and it is certainly possible to get a folio that is smaller than an octavo if you start with a small sheet of paper for the folio and a large sheet of paper for the octavo. So let's recap. The information before the colon tells us what format the book has. Format is the relationship between the sheet of paper and the pages of the book. The number in the format tells us how many leaves each sheet of paper will produce. In our next video, we will talk about the stuff after the colon. Until then, stay safe out there.